you found Billy Goat Tails, I love it here. Billy Goat Tails, the fam is here. Give us can, give us can, give us can, give us. We love you, fam. We are Billy Goat Tails. We love you, fam. Hashtag givers can. Givers gang! We love you, fam! Hashtag Givers gang! We love you, fam! Hashtag Givers gang! Oh! We are Billy Goat Tails! We are Billy Goat Tails!
What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Billy Goat Tales right here on a Sunday afternoon. We appreciate you being here with us, spending your precious time with us here at Billy Goat Tales. Today, Bitcoin has officially cleared that 80,000 mark, psychological barrier at the least. In today's show, we're going to break down the top 10 most critical updates you need to know for May 10th, 2026, from the massive Bitcoin price target updates by Michael Saylor and Cathie Wood, which we all know from ARK Financial, to a hidden Mother's Day protocol push that is changing how we think about generational wealth. We have it all here covered for you today. And we're also going to discuss, hey, the Bitcoin price prediction, right? Jimmy went around at the show. We got to talk a little bit about that. The little Mother's Day legacy, the new initiative to onboard families into Web3. And the SEC news, the pivot. We're always talking about, Dave said it earlier, we're always talking about SEC news. Yeah, we are. There's so much going on in the ecosystem. But why decentralization just won a massive legal battle? You need to know about this because it impacts how Coinbase is going to work, how your wallets work, what they can do, what they can't do, and the Pi Network and Solana updates. We're going to be talking about that. And a little Altcoin Season Check. But first, let's say hello to the team. What is going on today, Jimmy Jim?
Not too much. Glad to see you unlocked up. You were locked up through that entire spiel you just gave, but
oh man,
you are unlocked now.
Well, let's do it again.
But it's
frozen.
Actually a nice day here in Texas, a little warm.
Yeah.
Summer's here. Temperatures 88, feels like 95.
No kidding. That sucks.
That's the truth.
Spring is sprunging on us.
What's going on, Dave Digital? Besides that hot weather in Texas.
Oh, you don't want to hear about the hot weather in Texas? You know, just hanging out, doing some things. Let's take a look real quick. I'll show you guys what I was doing. I was trying to short Bitcoin right here, and it didn't work out. Went right through my stop loss, and now look at what Bitcoin wants to do. Go figure. So probably going to retest these lows and come down. We'll probably hear a lot more about that when Darren does things. Other than that, I am just hanging out, and I think it feels more like 115, Jimmy. Oh, my goodness, it is hot here.
DDT, what's happening, brother? From across the pond.
All good. Decent weather also. Spring be springing. So been in the garden. Time off charts, time with family, as I usually do on weekends. But yeah, also not too much price action wise anyway this weekend, luckily. Small little pump today, a little bit of a retrace now. So yeah, taking it easy. The usual weekend for me. Kind of spend time away with charts, family, and yeah, back to it now this evening. See what happens over the next few hours before I go to bed.
Gotcha. Well, let's say hello to chat, Dave Digital. You want to jump in there?
I'll say what's going on with these filthy animals. You got Jessica Luck.
Go ahead.
You're frozen again, Billy. You're so pretty in that frozen image there on the screen.
Just keep going.
We got Jessica Luck over there. We got Mike Volmer, Mod King in the chat. He says, Happy Mother's Day, BGT, to all the mothers on the stage. I hope that's a complete word. We got Crypto Billy in the chat. Dark Crash is saying hello in the chat, not feeling very well. He said he won't be a part of the stream, unfortunately, as I am very sick with the cold keeping me in bed all weekend. Happy Mother's Day to all. Happy Mother's Day back to you, Dark Crash. There and those things. Let's see, Jimbo Fett. Who else do we have in the chat? Am I missing anybody? Looks like we
Probably.
have top messages. Top messages are number 9, so I don't think I'm missing anybody. If I am, oh, there's Andy. Say hi in the chat if I'm missing you. I'd love to say hi back to you. And Billy's frozen.
No, I'm unfrozen. I should be unfrozen. Am I unfrozen?
You're unfrozen, and we can hear you.
All right, good. All right. Yeah, well, that's because I got so many tabs open, guys. Sorry. We're screwing the show up today. Billy's screwing the show up today. That's okay. It's okay. We do want to pull up the Bitcoin chart with DDT because our first story is about Bitcoin and this $80,000 mark, guys. You know how I feel. I make no bones about it. And time's going to tell whether I'm wrong or whether I'm right. And that's why I say don't listen to anybody on YouTube. Do your research because we all are just have our own thesis and we're speculating ourselves. But my thesis is I don't see us going. I said the bottom was in. I've been saying the bottom is in. I know there's old G's older than me, not older than me, but been in crypto longer than me, that say, no, this is routine. It's just like before. And I agree with that from a technical standpoint and from a historical standpoint. But there's something big different. And what's very big and very different is billions of dollars of ETF supporting that price. And there's buying like crazy going on with Bitcoin. I don't see us doing what we used to do. That is my own opinion about that. So I want to check the Bitcoin price action with DDT and let the chart master here, DDT, tell us what he's seeing with Bitcoin.
Muted. So, looking okay. Obviously, everyone's talking about the rounded bottom, and obviously it moved up. Quite a few assets are now doing kind of this type of weekly bottoming formation. When we are looking at money flow on the weekly, obviously 2 weeks ago we had weekly money flow across green. Quick market sentiment was the 4-day and the 5-day money flow is still probably the next money flow if we are going to push higher. Wait for a retrace, a small retrace now, and when these cross, this might give us the next leg up. So that's what I'm looking at there. Earlier on this week, we've had the 3-day money flow cross green, but also as well, we're getting quite overbought. Daily, it's just hanging around up top, kind of continues to be overbought, but also as well, fairly green money flow. Money flow is not really coming out. It's more flat and sideways. So what I have been looking at this week is, for the most part, we are generally, or my feeling is generally that we may still push up a little bit higher and still have very shallow pullbacks because of obviously the money flow, specifically from the daily to weekly. Yes, the 4 and 5 day are a bit precarious because they haven't flipped green yet. But by that, when you're looking at kind of the TA, kind of the levels I normally use, basically what we've done this week, so obviously we've set a new weekly high, which is good. So higher highs, higher lows, uptrend, to put it plainly. What we have done is we back tested the previous weekly high now on Friday afternoon or Friday. But for me as well, this Friday, it's weird. This wick as well, on Friday, I think on the 15-minute will be the best to look at it. Where was it? Where were you? Well, on Friday or Thursday, there was a scam wick down. I think you probably only see it on the daily, isn't it? Oh, come on, don't do this to me now. Yeah, so this wick here is only really on Bybit, the inverse perpetuals. So it's a bit, it's a bit shady to me. So I think we may still come down and kind of come back down into kind of high 70s for another higher low. So currently at the moment, the price action is doing this. So obviously you went down, you've put a higher low there, I would say. Put another higher low here. And then obviously you probably put another higher low back there if this weekly trend is going to continue up. But bar that, I am, rather than looking at kind of the weekly levels, when you're looking locally at a volume profile, we have this one here, which obviously also lines up with kind of this 70K zone. Ideally, what we wanted here was this to be a failed auction or kind of price failing to trade higher for it to trade back down to 71,000. That didn't happen. This week decided to go up. And yeah, so obviously this back tested here. Money flow is fairly kind of more leaning towards more upside and shallower pullbacks. From what I can see, if I was looking for, I don't necessarily like this wick, right? So I'm totally kind of because it's not on Binance, not on Coinbase. But if I was looking at where we could come down to, 618, 618, and 7864 back into this profile that we just broke out of locally. We'll probably go to the 4-hour, give it kind of a bit of, we currently now are printing a 4-hour red dot. It's looking as if we might into futures open, which opens in 50 minutes time, CME open basically. We might still pull back a bit. Yeah, obviously there's still a bit of malarkey going on, tweets and everyone trying to talk and trying to get stuff done or trying to kind of make an end at least to what's happening in the Middle East. But kind of the markets now, yes, the price action is fluid, but there is moments in the price action that are very kind of news driven and kind of based off tweets and stuff. So, but show me the charts, I'll tell you the news. Basically, the charts luckily are still responding to kind of how they should without the news being a factor at all, from how I'm concerned. What we did have, we've got 4-hour currently rolling over, 1-hour currently rolling over. Locally, I'm looking for just below 80,000 for a bounce. We currently are on 87.50, dropping now. But kind of the key ideal level for me now would be closer to between 78 to 79 upside levels. So that's kind of locally the levels below us that I'll be looking at. Obviously, higher up, the only real kind of levels of contention or did I just interest, yes, is still this value area above us, 86,000. I wonder if that also, I think the weekly lines up with one of these EMAs or SMAs. Currently what we've done is we've rejected the daily SMA, daily 200 EMA. But if you flip over to the weekly, I think you have the weekly 50 up here as well, kind of you have the you have the weekly 50 EMA in line with the value area low at the moment. So kind of EMAs, SMAs, depending what you use, will line up with kind of the 84 to 86,000 level. At this point as well, what I am seeing kind of on heat maps, I can't really flip over to them, but there is still quite a lot of liquidity below. It's like 3 to 1 currently. So for every short, there's now 3 times the longs, which means we are probably due a flush at some point, kind of to take out some longs lower. But that's obviously not kind of the end of this kind of move up. I think it's just to clear some of the late positions out of the positions that are getting a bit too boisterous, clear them out and then continue higher. So for the most part, we are continuing basically as we have for probably the last 2 or 3 weeks. Decent uptrend, no cause for concern just yet. Next levels above us, anything from 83.3 thousand up to 86,000, lining up with key weekly and daily EMAs, and also as well, obviously, the volume profile that we fell out of in January, kind of in the move down to February. So for the most part, still bullish. Biased based on what I'm seeing on the charts. Bar that kind of nothing really else to report. Price action kind of has done what I thought it would do, or kind of what I would have expected to do, having been in a decent uptrend this week. But yeah, that's basically it. Watching like 78, 79K or 83 to 86K now as either next levels up as resistance or next levels below us as support.
Well, that kind of is what I'm believing too. I am going out on a limb, and I think we will see $86,000 soon. Now that's just my own feeling about it, and I do mean feeling about it, so that is not based in anything other than the amount of ETF inflows buying Bitcoin. And that is such a big deal to me. I'm very bullish, even though being in since 2017, I bought my first crypto. Really started getting involved in 2020. But these are several cycles now. And I know, like, we should be, like Jimmy said last week, hit 80K, pong back down, get into that value area of, high, low, mid 60s. That would make sense from a technical standpoint to me. Absolutely. I just don't think it's going to happen this time. And guess who else doesn't think it's going to happen? Catherine Wood said that she pointed out 150,000 is going to be a conservative base case for this year. Conservative base case for this year. Now, she's way smarter than I am. She has more information at her fingertips, knows how to decipher that information, has a whole bunch of analysts talking to her about it, but she also has a serious interest in having that come to fruition. But we also know that Michael Saylor also came out, and I know we have the news of him saying on the tweet that, buy more Bitcoin than you sell. However, he's already committed this to buying another 30 billion in purchases this year. So, everybody kind of blew up about that. I saw a lot of creators talking about that, and we can get into that if the team wants to. But I'm just looking at it from that standpoint, not necessarily from a pure technical trade standpoint on that. What's your thoughts about it, Jim?
Well, I mean, as far as the price action you're saying?
Yeah, are you still thinking it's going to, because it hit the 80, are we still going to go like back down from here? Or are we going to move up from here? What's your thoughts on it?
I don't think we're going to see the lows I was hoping for at this point. I do think we're going to probably range in that 70s, 80s, kind of have how we've been doing. Something dramatic changes with the war, that could really change things in itself. So, who knows at this point? I would put myself in the category of uncertain.
Yeah. So what is going to be your trigger to start aggressively buying Bitcoin, Jimmy? Like, are you going to wait for it to, like, what's in your mind about, okay, this would be a good range to get into?
I don't think that I'm going to end up probably using the same strategies I did last time, which was a bunch of really heavy aggressive buying. I think I'm just going to try to play DCA game as best I can, and just do it in spurts, until something really pans out. We've definitely got some established uptrend there showing on a chart, but I don't trust it.
Yeah. Historically, we shouldn't, for sure.
I still think we've got another step down. Do we see the high 50s? Probably not.
Okay.
It's just so hard to say right now.
Yeah.
It really is.
It is, and this is where, there's a lot of Bitcoin leaving exchanges too, and that is typically indicative of they're being put into hard cold storage. Whales. So you can go out on the interwebs, you can go on your local AI, and you can find big things are happening behind the scenes. What's happening? Number one, whales are accumulating. They're moving it off the exchanges. That you can go check it, verify it, fact check it. You're going to see that's true. Record ETF Bitcoin purchases. Go fact check it. You're going to find out that's true. You also are going to see that new money is coming in to crypto. New money is coming into crypto. And when you look at that, we've kind of been waiting for some of that. And we're going to get into the story with the what this local SEC change was, because it really helps us greatly. And we know the Clarity Act is up for a vote as well. And we're going to talk about that because you guys got to know Coinbase and Brian Armstrong has made a concession. And we got to know what that concession is and how it feels for us, because we're the users. We're going to be using this stuff. But anyways, what's your thoughts on Bitcoin, Dave? We aggressively going down, we aggressively going up. What are we doing? What's your thoughts, big picture on Bitcoin?
Yeah, I don't think that we're done with the bottom, kind of like what Jimmy says. But here, let me preface this by saying, look, I'm also not making hundreds of thousands or $1 million worth of purchases. So my decisions don't rely on me making large or, I'm not making big financial decisions with what I think. But I do think that there's something that's going to happen. I think, black swans don't have names. We don't see them coming. I think there's something that brings us down. I do think probably that we get through the 50s even, and maybe even touch into the 40s, possibly into the high 30s with a wick that comes back quickly. I don't think we spend a lot of time down there, and I think that we do still need some sideways time before we go up significantly. But even just from here, if you just take something simple like what is it, the 52-week, right? And we can still hit that and barely and reject it, so anything can still happen. Would I like to see, 200K from here, or 150K like Cathie Wood says this year? Absolutely, because when she gets excited, I get excited because I think she's sexy. But that's just my opinion.
I know she's smart. I definitely know she's smart. So she is. I follow her quite a bit, and she's been on the money. The big prediction that she made was way back in, that I recall at the Bitcoin conference in I think it was 22. And she said that by 2030, Bitcoin would be $1 million a coin. So here we are, 4 years away from it. Whatever happens in this next 18 months is going to be, I think, indicative of if that is even possible or not.
Billy?
Yeah.
Just real quick, we have to shout out to whoever's over there on X, because there's a lot of them over there. 32 people over there on X tuning in to Billy Go Tales. We love to see you guys back. You've been missing for a long time, so just happy to see y'all. We can't see your chat, so if you guys want to come over here to YouTube to the Billy Go Tales channel, please do, because we would like to say hi. So come say hi to us.
Well, they probably tuned in for the big Mother's Day special, the Legacy Protocol push that we put on our thumbnail. So we might as well get right into that, because it's interesting, guys. There's this, if you want to pull up the dashboard, Dave, there's in crypto, there's all these associated groups, and there's all these communities that we don't even know about, right? A lot of times. But there's a protocol called the Black Blockchain Academy, and they are launched the Mother's Day Legacy Initiative. It's a massive protocol-wide push to onboard mothers right here on Mother's Day and families into Web3. So I love this concept. I love this idea to help moms understand and make generational wealth using Web3, which a lot of people are afraid of. A lot of the Gen X, the boomers, and even some of the millennial moms just have not gotten into blockchain or Web3 as much as you might think. So smart contracts, they're going to teach about them. They're going to automate inheritance and digital asset education. And I found that to be so cool, because several of the major exchanges are also offering some zero fee gift transfers on Mother's Day in the next 24 hours. So this particular Mother's Day legacy, and I'm going to pull this up. Well, no, I'm not. Hold on. every time I click on something, I freeze up. Let me do this like this. Here we go. Let me pull this up like this. Share screen. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. So some of my best friends in the world come from the Black community. D'Angelo, shout out to you. Hope you're listening right now. I know you're always tuning in secretly. Also, Jerry Randleman, good to see you, my friend, my military buddy. Thank you. But this is from the Mother's Day Legacy, Bitcoin, blockchain, and why they matter. So I started going around to different and typing in Mother's Day with AI and found all kinds of cool things that are happening on Mother's Day. And this is just one of them. And I'm thinking with us guys, and talking about Billy Goat Tales, we've been really looking at our company and what we're bringing, the value we're bringing to you guys as well. And we're really working on reformatting that and creating a different kind of community. And Dave's been working on a lot of stuff behind the scenes. I think it's relative right now, because when I was looking at all these communities, there's pretty much a community for everybody out there right now. I mean, if you are Hispanic, or if you're Black, if you're a carpenter, if you're a nutrition guy, if you're a health guy, Dave's blending walking on the treadmill with crypto, right? A little keying off Jason there, our buddy Jason Casp. But there's a community for everybody. And so Billy Goat Tales, when we started this, we wanted to really make sure that we educated and informed children. But we have 10 cornerstones. That was the core of us. And our 10 cornerstones are important to us. So we're looking at all this. After the show, these guys came back and they decided that, Billy, we got to look deep, dig deep, and kind of refocus Billy Goat Tales. And so I just want to let everybody know, without making it sound like something big is coming, because they all make fun of me when I say something like, we're just going to be changing. We're going to be changing some things up big time on Billy Goat Tales, and I'm excited for it all. I think it's a better fit for the marketplace. And when I started looking at all these communities on Mother's Day, I was very blown away. The veterans, crypto, and Tex-Mex Biomex is involved. There's a whole veterans crypto community out there, and I really want to start bringing some of these communities in and talking to them, because I think they're very unique, very specialized, very niche. And I think some of our members would find it very helpful if they knew about some of these communities. So that's definitely one thing I want to start doing. And yeah, shout out to you. Yeah, go ahead.
Jimmy, did Billy just say something big is coming without saying something big is coming? Did I just see that?
I think he did.
Yeah, I thought so.
I
thought he just slid that in there right there. Like, no, I'm not saying something big is coming. But it sounded like he said exactly that, didn't he?
Well, you got to back up the tape. No, these guys. So anyways, yeah, community. I wanted you guys to know we're working on some big things behind the scenes. Big things, Dave. We're working on big things. I didn't say something big's coming. Andrew, good to see you. Jesse, good to see you. Who else we got in here? Man, you guys are awesome. Mike V, my man, Mike V's in here. Rusty Bot. Can't wait till we get back our WD-40 emoji for the Rusty Bot. Of course, Andy, good to see you. We appreciate it. Yeah, we got over 40 people with X algorithms working today. Anyways, Mother's Day special. You wanted to please go out and find some of these communities. We're going to start bringing them in. But just one that popped up, the Mother's Day Legacy Protocol. And if you go to that website, the Blockchain Academy, you will have a code that you can enter and you can get some free education from them. I don't know them. We're not supported by them. I know it's not a scam. I did go deep enough to make sure they're real. That's why I'm bringing them up. But wanted to let you know about that. And speaking of a scam, guys, I was perusing my Ledger wallet that I haven't been in a long time. And I noticed there are these tokens in there that I never heard of. So, of course, we all know you don't mess around with tokens that you don't know about. So what I did is I went in to my AI and I put in Kper because I had all this Kper token in there in my Ledger wallet, my Ledger wallet. And so, yep, sure enough, watch yourselves because it's out there. Kper dusting alert. A massive dusting attack is currently hitting Ledger and MetaMask users. If you see a token called Kper or Kper.network in your wallet, do not touch it. Scammers are dropping these for free to trick you into visiting a site to swap them out. And once you connect your wallet and sign the contract, guess what? They drain your real assets like ETH or Bitcoin. Yeah. So just hide the token. Don't mess with it. Stay safe. And I wanted to bring that up because that is literally in my Ledger wallet. And luckily I know enough not to mess with those things. But we are ramping on, just like with Mother's Day, you know, ramping up brand new people into the community. So yeah, us OGs know that stuff, but some of the newer people may not know that. So we want to make sure we are keeping everyone safe out there. Just block the token. Yeah, Rusty. Yeah, you can just hide the token, just block the token. Yeah, that's right. And I found it interesting because I've had that over the years with MetaMask, but never in my Ledger. Kind of was like, man, you know, I guess the bottom line is they get somehow they backtrack your public address, right? And they send it out to everybody. Now, on the flip side of that, and I'll let everybody comment on this, but on the flip side of that, I had something else happen to me, Dave, that was pretty interesting. So years ago, I guess, when I was buying different tokens, doing the degen thing in crypto, and if ever anybody says they didn't do that, they're lying to you, man. We all degen down in crypto at some point in time. Normally when you first come in, right? And so I had interacted with different protocols and this and that, and I guess MetaMask did an update, and I opened my MetaMask wallet up, and it was like, I don't know, instead of $4 or $5 grand that I have in there, it was like $36,000. I was like, what is this? So I go to it, and I do the activity, the history, and find out that, well, let me back up. First of all, so a friend of mine told me, because they were in it with me back in 2020, that, hey, man, I got this airdrop for this protocol. Did you get yours? And I said, no. And they said, well, I said, where'd you get it? He said, MetaMask. I said, I didn't get mine. All right. So it was there. And this is what a lot of people don't understand. It was there, but I had not downloaded the token address. I did not download the token. Yeah. And so there could be, for other people, money in your wallet that you don't even know about because it's not going to show up until you download that token. Now, I guess they're changing that. They're trying to get that so that, you know, an ordinary user off the street, because that's the complicated side of crypto, right? You got to go in there and download your token and blah, blah, blah. And those days are starting to end, but in the old MetaMask wallet. So I went in there, got with him, downloaded the token. Again, made sure I was safe, made sure I was clear, and boosh, there she goes. She populated. And so there are chances where you could have money in your wallet that you don't even know of because you didn't download the token, or you weren't on the right network. You gotta be on the right network. You gotta download token address, then boom, it pops in. So on the scam side, don't interact with anything you don't know about. When there's a token that you know is real, it's bona fide, you can go and check it. And this is someone trusted that I trusted. That's the flip side of that, because you could have literally money in your wallet and you don't even know about it. So keep that in mind, especially guys who've been in the industry for several years. You got to remember, we forget half the stuff that we interacted with back in 19 and 20 and 21 that actually has built up to something and become more significant. Do you guys remember BitTorrent back in the day? BitTorrent in like 2018 or 19? I remember messing with BitTorrent and buying the token, and that thing was hot. It was hot. BTT, I think it was. And look, it's junk. So how many of these tokens that we bought back in the day just went to zero or had done nothing? Lots of them, right? So be careful, but there's two sides to that coin. There's a benefit side. If you know what you're doing, you might have free money in your wallet. And then there's the risk side, which is, hey man, don't interact with the token that you don't know because they will scam you. What's your thoughts on those two things, Jimmy GM?
Well, yeah, I mean, definitely got to be careful out there, especially with the hot wallets stuff. As you were talking, I was actually going out there to see if I had any mystery stuff.
Mystery gifts. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
And actually, I don't, or at least there's nothing showing. But yeah, I mean, typically if you didn't expect it, then yeah, avoid it. Get rid of it, hide it.
Yep.
Get away from it. Don't touch it.
Yep.
Touch it just once. You got to touch it at least once.
Be nice, Dave. Green Day, good to see you, buddy. Sorry I missed you in Vegas, man. Heard you had a great time out there. Jay Violet, good to see you. Jay Violet's been popping in Lifer Stream every now and again. It's awesome.
She's a secret lurker. She doesn't say something until she recognizes somebody else that says something.
Is that what Jay Violet does?
I've been seeing her over there at Lifers, and then as soon as I say something, she's like, I'm here too.
Samuel, cup and handle. I missed you too, Green Day. What's your thoughts on this, Dave? You had any personal stories like that, like the ones I shared?
Well, of course, with the ones that they drop in your wallet, and all of a sudden you have all this money, which they're just trying to get you to click on it. I've had that, and then that is one of the pain points of MetaMask is not necessarily knowing that you need to go put in this token and the network, because we did a lot, especially at the beginning. We played with everything. If you could get it, we probably got it. If you could, go to the app or whatever it was, the app, we probably went to it. There wasn't a lot of them then. We were all over the place. So there could be other stuff. And if you think about it, MetaMask is one of the places that you get the least amount of airdrops that you know about, probably because we're not typing in the ticker. And we just don't know the ticker. I wonder if we could build our own thing that could scan the wallet address, since it's on the blockchain, and just tell us what all's in that wallet, and then we could go do our own homework and then type it in if we choose to. I wonder if we could build something like that.
Well, we need to see if there's an app already built like that, first of all, right? And ask if there is something.
Next week on Billy Go Tales, Crypto Billy will tell us.
Yeah. Any thoughts on it, DDT?
Yeah, I've had my silly moments, as you do. Everyone has to kind of have their welcome to crypto moment. I had a MetaMask drained, same thing. But sometimes you just you just don't realize it. You think, maybe it's a similar looking token to something you did. So I did that with something. Didn't lose a lot, but yeah, welcome to crypto. Then after that, kind of learned my lesson. Luckily, I didn't have a lot on the MetaMask. It was just a bit of ETH, but kind of nothing that kind of is life changing. So lesson learned after kind of touching the hot stove. But yeah, kind of you always have to be careful. And also as well, I've got Radium wallet, kind of Solana wallets, and Solana is like now even worse than MetaMask with all these scam tokens you get airdropped. So yeah, rather err on the side of caution with anything you kind of don't recognize.
I mean, kind of think about it. Even TradFi probably scammed us all too. You know, if you ever used an overdraft, you know, we're like, they could have just declined it. We would have been fine, reached in our pocket, pulled out some cash. But, you know, when you're first using your checking account and they had all the overdraft fees, you look on there and you've got 7, 8 overdraft fees because one thing didn't go right. You're like, wait a minute, you know. So if you think about it, TradFi kind of scammed us too. So crypto's really not that more painful than TradFi was.
Yep. Good stuff. All right, let's pull up our next story. Dave Digital, I think this is going to be interesting for everybody. The SEC pivot. What do we mean by that? Well, the new guidance for wallet developers. Why is that important to us? Well, it's a massive win for decentralization. It's a massive win for the crypto industry. They effectively backed off from labeling self-custodial wallets interfaces as brokers. What does this basically mean for us? Break it down. How's it going to impact you? Well, it's going to give more app stability. What I mean by that is major self-custody tools like MetaMask, right? Like Uniswap, like Phantom Wallet from Solana, have a green light to operate in the United States without needing a broker's license, a broker-dealer license, keeping them accessible to us. Number two, it's a neutral interface. Apps must act as a neutral windows to the blockchain. What that means is they're prohibited from shilling. So those old days of shilling, getting little things, buy this, buy that from a Uniswap, from a Phantom, from, you know, those days are gone. This structures that so they can't be, they got to be neutral. It gives them rules now that, hey, this is what you can do and what you can't do. If you do this, and this, you are a broker, which means you got to fall under this set of rules. But it made it so that these guys like Uniswap, like Phantom, like MetaMask are now pretty much legal. They also have security vetting, which is providers are now expected to have internal controls to evaluate the trading venues they connect you to, which helps reduce the risk of you interacting with unknown protocols. Well, we've had that happen before, right? So they have to fix that piece. Full transparency was a part of that so that you could see clearer disclosures. And remember, this would also apply to a ledger or a Coinbase wallet, not Coinbase Exchange, Coinbase wallet. So like a ledger wallet, all of these wallets like hot wallets and things. This is what this piece of rules and laws represent. And they clarified it so people can operate legally now in the United States because now there's new laws for that. So what's that going to do for us, the retail users? It's going to make it safer. It's going to make it better, more disclosed, less shilling. And I think it's just another gyration of what's happening in the growth and adoption in the crypto space. What do you think about this? So just real quick, excuse me. I got the drainage from all these allergies. The SEC, they call it a SEC pivot because, you know, Gary Gensler, it was attack. And now they're saying, wait, stop. Let's look at this and let's get some rules around this before we just go around and you know, send you a court order basically and sue you. So that's why they're calling that SEC pivot. What's your thoughts on that, Jimmy?
Yeah, I mean, that's good stuff. I mean, I guess you could say that's some dirt breaking away from the levee that can, you know, really open things up. I mean, we get some activity over on Clarity Act and stuff like that. I mean, that's that could be the thing that breaks the levee and really melts faces as far as price action. I mean, I would be surprised to see that in the next couple of months, but you know, just who knows? I mean, I'm like sitting here right now. I mean, all of a sudden my phone started buzzing and stuff, And I see Sui is up 27% all of a sudden. I don't know what's going on with Sui, but man, it just took off here.
Yeah. There are some alts that are just starting to run right now, and we're going to get into a couple of them here in a little bit. But yeah, these little things, and you said it best, Jimmy. I think that's basically the best way to say it, is all of these little moves mean something. And eventually the pressure is so great, it's going to break loose. And I don't say that from a perspective of, oh, I want it to because I'm invested in Bitcoin. Well, of course, that's everybody's default. No, I'm saying it from a macro fundamental perspective. Historically, when you have all this coalescence in the same area, it is a good thing for whatever that is. And historically, whatever market we're talking about. And these little rule changes, and we're getting ready to go into the Clarity Act, just to update everybody on that. All these little things are creating exactly what we all hope for. We're just trying to keep track of them and bring them to the community so they can see step by step, piece by piece, this is how this market's being built and why we think Bitcoin is the play for the long term. It is the new digital gold. Not financial advice. It's our thesis, how we are thinking about things here. So, yeah, I like this. I like the fact that they're working on these small rules as well as, and that's not even part of the Clarity Act. That was the SEC that had the domain that didn't have that clarity before, those rules before. And now they made those rules so that it helps all these protocols like Uniswap, like Phantom, like Ledger, like Coinbase Wallet. It cleans it up, makes them legal, and it gives them rules of what they can and cannot do. And I think we're going to see a much safer, cleaner place because of that. And of course, probably a little less decentralized, but that's what happens when you bring in government, right? It's going to be less decentralized for sure. What's your thoughts on it, Dave Digital?
You know me, Billy.
You don't give two shits, do you?
Well, them changing some wallets around and giving some new rules for a wallet. I mean, I'm not using a lot of new wallets anyway. I use a wallet from an exchange. You can use a cold wallet, and I use MetaMask and Trust Wallet, which I don't really use. I just have those from the beginning. So I don't really have a lot of wallets. I don't really look at a lot of new wallet technology. So whatever rules they're making about the wallets, I don't see it moving the needle in any way or the other. So it doesn't really matter to me.
Gotcha. DDT, any thoughts?
Yeah, just makes it easier for decentralized trading. If they're getting kind of the Uniswaps, MetaMasks, all these wallet companies to do the pre-vetting of the exchanges that it links to, then yeah, I'm all for it, because in a way that does help kind of the newbie or the kind of the new person into crypto. Yes, you can still get scammed off it, but for the most part, there is some vetting that these companies will have to do, which is a good thing, essentially. And also as well, there's less red tape with SEC kind of stepping in and kind of just being a total barrier to anything. So yeah, kind of net positive, I would think, in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, I do too, man. I think that as well. So I wanted to share it. And speaking about Jimmy, let's take a look at the bubbles. There's Sui, 3% up right now on the hourly. And look at, Zcash too, guys. I'm becoming a fan of Zcash. We'll look at it on the daily here. Sui 27.6 on the daily. Jimmy must have some Sui. You got some Sui, Jimmy?
Not a lot.
Wow.
That's it. I mean, it was setting off alerts in my Coinbase account.
Yeah, it was sub $1 a few days ago, and then literally just ripped. But I think it's all news backed, because they were announcing a whole lot of things that updates at Consensus, I believe. I have a friend that kind of said, "Oh, Sui could be a good short after consensus." So might be coming up to the level to get a good short on it at some point, kind of closer to 140, 1.4. But by that, it's ripping. And also as well, it's like Bitcoin. Bitcoin had the volume gap, kind of where it is now between, like, say, 1886K. It's in a volume gap. Sui had a volume gap literally to where kind of it almost just filled it now to like 1.4. So hits those volume gaps, and kind of they just fly through them normally. And outsource as well takes less to move. So
Yep.
kind
And
of
then on
the technicals basically with the price action kind of helped, or kind of were in kind of agreement with kind of what happened.
So look at the
over last
weekly.
3 days.
Look at the weekly DDT. I mean, look at these that moved on the week. Tone coin, 74%. Ondo up 42% for the week.
I think
Zcash 40%. ICP 40%. Link
VVV.
15.
Dave was talking about that yesterday in VVV.
Yeah, there's Dave's VVV. That scares me to death, but a lot of people are in it.
Yeah, I admit that's in my head. That show was going to talk about how bad it was, and it comes to find out the thing isn't that bad.
Otherwise.
It's just a little bit confusing. It's just it sounds like it's almost the cheapest way that you can use AI. It's just hidden back there. Now, obviously, you'd have to try it and see, but that's what it seems like. It seems like that was their plan the whole time. Like, they've got super cheap compute, basically based on a community involvement type thing, and it makes sense. It's just that some people chose to sell their portion of that early.
Didn't we meet those guys at like Consensus or something one of those years? Seems like we met those guys. Finis Token.
I don't remember. I don't remember how we got introduced to the.
Near is doing well as well. Also some new updates and AI and kind of the key buzzwords aligned with Near protocol as well.
After that sneaker company put AI in their name, they went up 600%. And then another company put AI in their name, and they went up like 400%. So that's what's the big announcement, guys. It's now Billy Goat tells AI. So we're going to go up like 600, 800% tomorrow.
Here's the monthly Sky AI leading the way, it looks like. And this is unbelievable. I mean, Luna, man, they got me. They got me.
I also they got me small, luckily.
They got me big. They got me
Luna
big.
doing a buyback or burn. So everyone's just trying to make a little bit of money, doing a cash grab on it, I think.
Yeah, well, give me my money back at $90 a coin that I bought it at. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, and Zcash, look at that thing roll, man. So, Zcash, there's only 21 million of them, like Bitcoin, and it is the Monero of it all, right? It's the privacy side. And it's, one Zcash is $576. One Bitcoin is $80,000.
Does it tell you the dilution of Zcash? I think Zcash is also like a slow dilution, but it's also probably about 80%, 70 to 80% diluted now.
I can pull up. I can pull up CoinMarketCap and
because
and
I presume it's like an extension of Bitcoin essentially. So I think there's a comparativeness in regards to how Bitcoin moves. Zcash will move at a multiplier of how Bitcoin moves. Relative, kind of just something that I've noticed. Zcash either front runs Bitcoin's price action or kind of does a multiple of what Bitcoin's price action does. So Bitcoin does 10%, Zcash will do 50%. Like our altcoins will do more than what a Bitcoin will do.
Yeah. So just real quick, before I get to that, to look at that for you. Fear and Greed's at 49, and our total crypto market cap is at 2.7 trillion now. So everything is tapering up, interestingly. And let's look at this Zcash here. And
What's the dilution? How many? It's at 16 million now of 21, so it's just behind Bitcoin. So currently 16. So what's that? 75% of supply, give or take.
yeah.
Or
Yep.
70%.
So yeah, they're 21 million, just like Bitcoin. And yeah, it's I'm becoming a little interested in this as far as alts go.
A lot of the Bitcoin OGs that were selling from the all-time high, or I can't remember, there was a few whales that started selling OG wallets. They apparently moved a lot of their kind of profits or that type of thing into Zcash. I think it's mainly because of the privacy. Everyone, kind of the OGs, the cypherpunks of the Bitcoin world, were like, no, Bitcoin is like captured now by all the big companies and treasuries and those type of things. So they wanted something that kind of still held that kind of their cypherpunk ethos, I think.
Yep.
Well, that was the narrative I was hearing at the time. And obviously there was proof. Like Look On Chain was posting that some big Bitcoin wallet, when he sold, like a few days later, he was buying buying Zcash. So there's some truth to that narrative. But whether they're doing that now, again, is another thing. Where it's just pumping for the sake of pumping. Could be, doesn't have to. Correlation doesn't always mean causation, or whatever correlation doesn't mean. Whatever that saying is, but similar to, it could be pumping just because Bitcoin is pumping.
So
look at, if you guys remember, Zcash is one of the ones that outperformed Bitcoin for most of the last run.
Yeah. So I think, well, the narrative was that these Bitcoin OGs were selling, thinking Bitcoin has captured in inverted commas. And Zcash and Monero were the only ones that kind of are now the only real proof of work networks. There might be other ones. Obviously, Casper's another one, but Casper's a DAG.
DAG.
But for the most part, the kind of this whole proof of work thing, I think, is kind of what the OGs are going back into or looking for.
Yeah. There's other ones. What was Burke? GF Burke got me into some. I don't know, man. I haven't been in there in years. But it was supposed to be kind of like Casper launched, and I don't know, a couple years later, this launched, a year later, so, and it did all right, but you could only buy it on one of those DJing exchanges like KuCoin or whatever, Gate.io, where everything's listed at first. And so I went over there and bought it with Burke, and man, I haven't even been back to that exchange since, but it's been a long time. But it was a proof of work privacy kind of thing going on there as well. All I'm saying is there's so many that we don't probably even know about, but we know the big ones, right? And Monero and Zcash are becoming the leaders for sure. All right, Dave, let's pull up our dashboard. We'll hit the next story. The next story is talking about the Clarity Act, because there's some updates, right? We know the vote is coming up. Of course, we know that. This legislation, though, guys, is a game changer for stable coins. It finally creates a legal path for the platform to pay yields on stable coins without being classified as an illegal shadow bank. Now, here's what this vote coming up, guys. There's some give and take. I'd like to know how you all feel. Put it in the chat. I want to know how you feel if you haven't kept up with this. But basically, the rule says, the whole idea was crypto firms like Coinbase wanted to be able to pay staking rewards. If you want to put your USDC and put it on their exchange, and they want to be able to pay you like interest, the bank said, no, you can't do that. That's where it got hung up at. So there was a consensus, or a mutual understanding with these new rules that Brian Armstrong said okay to. And here is what those rules are. Crypto firms are generally barred from paying you interest or yield on your stable coins if it looks and acts like a traditional bank deposit. Why? Well, regulators want to prevent a situation where a crypto company promises high return, but doesn't have the cash on hand to back it up if everyone would cash out at the same time. Now, here's the exception to the rule. Companies can still give you rewards if they are tied to a bona fide, genuine activity. So let's think Coinbase. Everybody knows Coinbase. You go in there and it says, hey, you read this, watch these 4 videos, earn some, whatever the token is. That is an activity. That is a reward. That is allowed. But in the old days, hey, you want to put your USDT here, I'll pay you 8% just to stake it. I'll pay you. Then it went down to 6, and we know some back in the day, Celsius and all the, you're paying 80%, 90%, right? We know these, but recently, in recent times in crypto, it's tapered, it's pushed down to 3, 4, 5% staking rewards. So what that looks like to you, you might not get your 5% interest anymore for just holding the coin, but you could get rewards for using the platform to pay for things, participating in activities, network security, and completing some of those educational tasks that they come up with. So that is what they're going to be voting on, guys. Now, the big question is, because you guys all know this impacts us, because if that thing passes this week, which I think it's this week or next week coming up, right? Like it's in subcommittee. If it passes, man, that's going to be I think a big trigger for crypto. Now it could be, buy the rumor, sell the news event, Jimmy's Black Swan, because this is all leading up, market's pushing, and if it passes, who knows? The thing could dump up in our faces. But I'm going to make a call here right now. I don't see this thing passing this week. I hope it does. I want it to, but I don't see this thing passing. And the reason is there's too many details that still need to be ironed out. Now, if they built into some of the legislation that would suggest that, it's okay to pass it this way and we can vote on the rules later or something, okay. But man, I think there's too many rules. So let's ask the chat. We asked the chat here, and I might have missed it. Hey, Toaster, good to see you. French toasters. The best toasters are French toasters. We all know this. So what do you guys think, man? I'm sorry if I missed some of it. Green Day, happy Mother's Day to you too, brother. I think this is, I think we should be able to pay staking rewards, and they're not going to let us. They're not going to let us, man. That's the compromise. So they say if you do that, you're a bank and you don't have the rigorous rules that we have as banks. You can't pay interest. You can't pay yield. So we're not going to let you do that, but we will let you pay rewards. I don't know, man. I've kind of got mixed feelings on it. What's your thoughts on this, Jimmy?
Yeah, I mean, if it's gonna, I guess it depends on what category staking actually falls into, because I mean that's something I leverage quite often. Just having USDC resting in my Coinbase account, I'm earning cash on that. I mean, from the sounds of it, I don't like it. Let's see it in its final form. But it's a start. It's a direction. I mean, I'm sure, like you're saying, it's not going to pass, and there'll be more changes before, we get a final cut.
I mean, I want it to pass, and Brian Armstrong did tweeted out that he is for this new compromise, which I found kind of crazy. I guess he's basically saying, hey, man, they're not going to let us pay interest or yield on your stable coins if it looks and acts like it's a traditional interest account, like a bank. So that's in there. But they do get to pay out rewards for activities and what did they say? They called it rewards if they're tied to bona fide, genuine activities. So what that looks like, you might not get your 5%, you just for holding the stable coin, but you could get rewards for using the platform to pay for things, participating in the network security or completing tasks and things like this, like a lot of crypto companies do. I don't know. Well, that's going to change our, like Jimmy and I, we've talked about many times. Well, you buy Bitcoin in the bear market, you let it ride up, you sell it, and then you put your money in stake in USDC or USDT. There's people that do that. We've talked about those people. I don't sell my Bitcoin. I don't do that. But we've talked about that, people's strategies out there. Now, if this passes, according to what I'm reading, the new compromise, they're not going to be allowed to pay any type of interest or yield for like staking your USDC or USDT with, say, Coinbase. That's a death killer. That's a killer for me. I don't like that. I don't like that. But as I understand it, Brian Armstrong says this is the best we're going to get. So he's endorsed this compromise. What's your thoughts on it, Dave Digital?
I'm with you guys. I don't like it. Look, we know we've been here at the beginning. I don't remember the 90%, but I do remember legitimate 20%. So there's probably at least 10% that's out there that we could have on our end. So they've already knocked that down to 5%, some places even 4%. So it's already dwindling. I don't think it's right. I think that this is crypto and we need to find a way to get the money back in the hands of the people. We don't have all the moving parts that original banks have. And for them to say, I think what you said is they said, oh, well, you can't do that because if everybody tried to withdraw at the same time, then they don't have enough money. Well, neither do you. I mean, banks don't either. So what's the deal here? What's the difference? So I don't like it. I say send it back.
Yeah. DDT, go ahead. I heard your mic come on.
Yeah, it's basically what they need to do is they need to have something backing the USDT being staked or USDC being staked that generates the yield. So it has to have something generating. So from what I understand, Coinbase will have to buy some form of government bond now, or maybe they have been, to back the asset, USDC or wherever they can stake or wherever it is, to get some form of yield off, APY off. And then, yeah, but also as well, it's down to like whatever, 4% now, I think, just because the bonds are at, it'll be linked. So it'll fluctuate. They won't be able to give you 4% APY all the time. It's just going to be linked to what the bond rate is, probably like the 10-year or 30-year, depending how they want to link. Because obviously your 2-year, 3-year, maybe 1 year, or short-term bonds, they're not really, or treasuries, they're not really going to give you the yield needed on maturation to be able to service or they can. Everything has to be linked, essentially. So that's kind of how I reckon they are going to do it. And I think that was the contention, because I think what Coinbase or kind of some of these exchanges do is they do rehypothecate and kind of like a fractional reserve bank Ponzi in a way, where they take your money, they give you a little bit of your whatever your yield back, and then they make a bigger portion of it by like re-lending it out or kind of rehypothecating it or putting it into a bigger fund or something that generates more yield. But we don't reap the benefit of it. So I think they're trying to kind of bring everything all into a line. And I think that's maybe why Coinbase or Brian Armstrong might have had a bit of contention because he knows and they know their ways of actually being able to service that 4% or whatever it is. Whereas maybe that wasn't known, and maybe he's kind of digressed how they use their mechanics and kind of getting the yield and being able to kind of keep a fund, or kind of keep like a fund to kind of service the APY and those type of things. So it's all about the mechanics, but I think it's just basically all going to be kind of realigned with the banks. Yes, maybe they'll be able to give more, which just means Coinbase give up a bit. Coinbase make 1% of the APY where they give you 4%, or they make 2% and they give you 3%. Like it's just the mechanics. But obviously, kind of going forward, you would think they would the yields are going to come down, kind of, because they're not going to be able to reapothecate and kind of put them into yield farms and kind of cycle how we get these kind of loops where you can get these 80, 90, 100, 200, whatever percent kind of yields on assets.
Yeah, the crypto was different. They were sharing profits with us, not just yields off of one of their ways to get money. They were actually sharing profits, and that's why we were able to get such a big yield. Those profits are still there. They don't have as many moving parts as banks have. You know, even if they may have to go into buying those types of assets, they still, I mean, it's crypto. There's money here. And there's also money in banks. They just don't want to share it with us. You know, they just tighten the news so bad. Yeah,
but I think as well, that's this whole rehypothecating thing where some of your money goes into something else, which goes into something else, and then you get a big loop. And if that loop unwinds, then obviously there's a big problem, kind of like Anchor Protocol Luna, right? When it unwinds, the poop hits the fan.
It's a form of fractional lending, basically.
So basically now what they're doing is they're kind of tightening that up to kind of not have those doom loops. They're kind of making it I'm trying to think of the word. They're just making it so that there's less systemic risk, because obviously you can earn the 100% kind of in the loop, but also as well it's the risk kind of that if that loop unwinds, and then obviously you get nothing. And then obviously with Coinbase being registered in the registered in the US with like SEC and CFTC and all these, they're going to have all these kind of big kind of regulatory bodies coming after them if they do that, right? So,
well, I think Coinbase is good because they've applied for. They're basically have a broker dealer's license, so they're going to be able to pay what this does is says the banks are saying, look, we have all these rules, and that's why we get to pay interest. By the way, they have all those rules and highly regulated, these banks, and they pay squat for interest, right?
Yeah, 0.005%. Right? Like, come on, bro. Your monthly fee covers that.
But they're using that as saying we have to follow all these rules, and crypto don't have those rules. So what this specifically does is gives a compromise, and it says if you don't register as a bank and become a bank, then you can't. Jesse, those firms cannot pay you the interest or yield for staking. But in Coinbase's case, and that's probably why Brian Armstrong said, okay, I'm pretty sure, and don't you guys go search this out. I'm just a guy talking on YouTube here. I'm pretty sure that Coinbase, because knowing what I know about financial instruments, that you can sell stocks and things on Coinbase now, which means they got licensed, which means they even submitted for their the charter banking license, which means they're probably legal, which means they can meet the banking regulation, which allows them to pay the staking. So I think Coinbase is probably going to be okay, but all the other, a lot of the other places don't have the licensing to be basically a bank. Well, those are not going to be able to do it. So maybe that's what this is all about on that end with Brian Armstrong. I trust Brian Armstrong. Dude seems like a smart dude. I follow him. I keep up with what he's doing. I think he's not I mean, some people like CZ, some people don't, right? He's not a Sam Bankman-Fried kind of guy. He seems like legit to me. And I don't know him personally. I did try to go, as you guys know, I tried to go to Coinbase when I was in San Francisco. It's just the building. It's a mailing address. Went down there there's nothing there. I was like, dang, man, that sucks. But anyways, any other thoughts on this before we move on? I do want to say when we're talking about Coinbase, he did post on Q1 2026. I'm sorry for sniffling too. Q1 2026 derivative trading volume for Coinbase up 169%. Average USDC held in Coinbase products up 55%. This is year over year. Base chain stablecoin transaction volume 10x year over year up. And USDC on base share of on-chain agentic commerce volume in Q1 2026 up 90%. So these guys are moving out. Coinbase is absolutely moving out, no doubt about it. Any other thoughts on that, guys?
We got one thought from Simple Terms Podcast right after this.
Join us Saturdays live for the Simple Terms Podcast.
A new type of interactive live show where you join in to break down complex topics in simple terms. Join our human and AI host this Saturday on the @BillyGoatTales YouTube channel.
There we go. There we go. All right, let's pull up the dashboard. Let's go on to our next story, which I think you guys are going to like this. Polygon. It's about Polygon. We haven't heard about Polygon in a long time. Man, I remember when it was so hot. And it did well for a while, but then it's kind of just faded off layer 2 on Ethereum into the sunset. But they have it now shortened their block times. Why is this significant to you? Well, it went down from 2 seconds to 1.75 seconds, which doesn't seem like a lot of shaving, but it is. And what this actually means is it's a lot faster. What does that mean? Well, they're positioning themselves to get involved for settlement with people like Visa, MasterCard. We were talking about this before the show. When you become a product that nobody really knows your name, but you're used behind the scenes in everything, you're going to make some serious cash for that company. So they're positioning themselves. Visa level speeds. That's what they want to achieve. Visa level speeds. And they want to partner with these DeFi and transactions to be V1, right? Now, we all know that compared to Ethereum, we all started using Polygon, at least I did, because the fees were so much cheaper back in the 2020, 21, 22, 23. The fees were cheaper. But then there became all these other layer 2s that had a lot cheaper fees. And even a layer 1 like Solana that had a cheaper fee. So the big difference in the past, sending crypto could feel like just waiting forever. Remember, guys? This change with faster block times and higher throughputs, they're going to be able to be nearly instant. And this makes crypto very viable for buying coffee or paying a friend back and things like that. So we all know when a network's slow, and I use a lot of NFTs, or if it gets congested, it's typically the fees go up. That's what we've seen. Remember Ethereum. Ethereum gets congested. We're paying out the butt for that, right? Well, then came layer 2, Polygon, and it helped greatly. But what they're trying to do is Visa integration. They're trying, and they already have. Visa added Polygon to the settlement pilot program. So they're already in a partnership, guys. It's a pilot program. But the total result of that is you might eventually use a fintech app to run that runs on Polygon, a fintech app that runs on Polygon, and you don't even know it. And when it if that happens, if it gets to be that, guys, well, that's huge for Polygon. So I thought that was very interesting news because we're in a bear market, as everybody knows, and the companies that are building now in the bear market, they have the cash to build. Look at Chainlink. Look at this Polygon situation. There's other ones. But when they're creating these relationships and they're investing into their own protocols in a bear market, that is a very good sign for investors. Okay. So this is now up and it's real, it's live. So this is faster now. Polygon is faster and they're trying to become the fastest settlement layer in the blockchain. Found it very interesting. Now, full disclosure, I think I still have some Polygon in some wallet somewhere. It's not like a huge amount, but I always keep a little Matic. Used to be our Pole, Matic, whichever genre era you're from. What about you, Jimmy? You got any Matic? You got any Pole? What do you think about this story?
I don't know. If I do, it's dust. And yeah, I mean, it's a pivot, right? I mean, the real problem a few years ago, and Ethereum made adjustments that kind of rendered what they were doing not so relevant. I mean, you can still transact cheaper than on Ethereum, but it was much worse when Matic was at its high. And yeah, I mean, this is a way for them to pivot, and blockchain's blockchain. I mean, they write different software, make things more efficient. I mean, they can pivot to any industry and process transactions,
Yep. What about you, Dave Digital? I know it's another interesting topic that just makes you get excited to discuss. What's your thoughts on this, Dave?
I'm super excited about what they're doing over there at Polygon. Actually, Billy, in the real world, I just want it to work, and there's things that work. I had a good friend send Solana the other day, and I cashed it out within a minute. So it works. And I don't know that I'm going to go to Polygon to see if it's going to work. I'm great that they're working behind the scenes, but I'm not interested in Polygon. They haven't did anything that shined or did anything great, that stood out to me. You don't hear about them doing anything like naturally, like you do like something like Hype. And Solana is just, you don't see Polygon up there in the same conversations as where Solana is. So I just don't. It's great that they're doing stuff in the background. I'm happy that they're still building. I mean, they got a lot of money at first with their market cap, so they should be building something. We should get some kind of return on that. But does it make me excited, or I'm going to use them knowingly? No. There's other things that work that I'm familiar with, that I'm comfortable with. If they're faster now, well, I've already been using stuff that seems fast enough to me.
Yeah, for those that came on the Sol, and you got into that ecosystem, or you got a Phantom wallet and just started messing around with it, it's not ETH, right? I mean, so the people that had a problem with ETH, the way they solved their fee problem was layer 2 Polygon. But the people that really had a problem with ETH, they're Sol people. they're Solana people. And then Solana in the beginning, it built so fast, and it crashed several times. And the enemy of Solana was trying to make them believe, the market believe, that, it's cheap. It's built with pipe cleaner instead of strong iron. It's built with pipe cleaners, and that just wasn't the case, right? I mean, Solana has taken off. By the way, last I looked, and you can pull this up if you want, DDT. Last I looked, Solana was like at $93. I don't know what it is right now if you want to pull it up, but I got a feeling. No, it's at 95. Yeah, now it's at $95. I mean, so Solana's it's going to hit 100, and you're not going to like. I think we're. I don't know. My feeling is this, man. We're going to be laughing when we bought Solana under $100. We're going to be laughing. We're going to be like, remember when Solana was $70? That's what I personally believe. Don't go out and buy Solana because I said that. I just personally believe we're going to be laughing about that. Sort of like last season when everybody was ripping on Solana and I went out and bought a ton of it for, I don't remember. I can't remember if it's $9 or $12, somewhere in that range. And I sold it for 58 and it ripped to 200. So, DDT, what do you got on Solana? I'd like to see that chart.
Chart is here there, if you can bring it back up.
Yes, sir.
So basically, Solana was lagging behind Bitcoin and the rest of the year. Sorry, my chart is very busy, and I probably can't close the groups off. But basically, Solana ranged for a lot longer than Bitcoin. It's only now just really started its trend up. One thing that was concerning is if we look at the weekly money flow is literally only just crossed, where Bitcoin has probably had like 3-4 weeks of 3 weeks. So Bitcoin's had 3 weeks of sorry, just double checking and making sure I'm not talking fibs here in regards to the money flow, but it's only just started its weekly money flow green. But obviously, like most altcoins, if anyone was looking, all the altcoins and even Bitcoin started putting in this rounded bottom, which could be a lower low, it could be a higher low. You just got to play it as it is. But it's also as well, it's lagging. It's been lagging Bitcoin ridiculously. It's been sitting in the range between like 80 and like $90. Obviously, it's had some swipes. I know I had spots already that I didn't sell. I did have some. Obviously, I did sell at 260 when it was up there. I sold a bit there, kind of 3-4x. I've got an average price of about 72 to 74, somewhere in that range now, and added now when we hit this wick. I had limit orders that hit. So, kind of full transparency. I also do like Solana. I believe that it is asymmetrically better than ETH and still could run better than ETH because of the speed. Obviously, yes, there's issues. They can turn the blockchain off and on, and there was a whole lot of those issues previously. But for the most part, kind of the issues of Solana aside, asymmetrically, it's still got a lot more upside, and also it's newer, same thing. So where I was just looking, still this 102 to 106 zone, which is the local golden pocket from it's the local golden pocket from the 128 high, or otherwise you could pull it all the way up, and you can easily see now your next resistance is basically in line with this daily order block to the side here, this little block here. So anything from like say $100 to $105 next kind of key resistance above you. If you get through that, you're looking high 110s because you've got a volume gap here. You've got a volume gap in there. So as soon as you get back above here, you can quickly get back up to like 117 to 120. So it is looking as if it's playing catch up. A lot of the altcoins are now playing catch up. So your Sui, Ondo, even Cardano caught a few bids and a few things like that. Ton, I think you guys did mention, there's a few others, VVV. So these altcoins now are playing catch up to Bitcoin, which also as well, the only concern is obviously it just means you're getting closer to a local top when that happens, in my opinion. So not to say that Solana can still going, because altcoins can be a lot more irrational than what kind of Bitcoin can be as an asset, even though major, kind of like Solana, but still it takes less to pump Solana because of market capitalization, kind of with any other altcoin as well. Take that into account. But yeah, kind of upside 103 to 105. If it gets back above 105, you're looking with the volume gap to the left there on that daily candle, you're looking 117 to 120.
I'd love to see it turn 105 into support.
Yeah, and so that's kind of this zone here is the next big zone that just needs to kind of come into and then kind of decide if it rejects a bit and kind of work its way down, put in a higher low, eventually come and then kind of do something like that eventually. But yeah, it's looking good. Money flow just crossed it's just had another, like from this week, it's had another daily money flow across green, had a little bit of fake out. Like Bitcoin, like most alts and stuff that have pumped now, it is kind of fairly overbought, but same thing. Just because an asset's overbought and oscillators are all the way up kind of doesn't necessarily mean it's going to pull back. They can kind of stay kind of in trend, even with money flow just kind of going sideways in the green all the way up. For now, kind of upside targets, like I mentioned, 102 to 105. If it gets back above that 117 to 120, I would say. Locally, 90, give or take, is this value area high that it's broken out of. Obviously, I haven't pulled the range over, but it does. Let me just flip onto another. I don't know, another Solana chart.
Solana.
Let me just quickly check here. But yeah, I think that's basically it. Let me just see. Yeah, about 90. It's still on. This is a different chart, but still like $90, give or take, is probably your key support value area high. You're broken out of the range. And you do have order block here, which you're not come back into. So kind of locally 91 to 92, but otherwise $90 is kind of your key supports below you. Volume-based supports with the volume profile.
Put a 1 in chat if you own Solana. Put a 2 in chat if you don't. 1 if you own it, 2 if you don't. What's going on? Knox Bill, good to see you, man. French Toaster, good to see you. Mike V, good to see you, man. Green Day's still in here hanging out with us. We love you, brother. Yeah. Do you own Solana? I own Solana. Full disclosure, yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I got to put that in.
Same disclosure. Also own it.
I own it.
Yeah.
I guess I shouldn't have put that from Billy Goat Tails. I should have put it from Crypto Billy. But anyway, yeah, I do own it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna put a 1 in chat. Do you own any, Jimmy?
Talking to us, Billy?
Do you own any Solana, Jimmy?
Yes, I do. That's one of the few that I still have in my portfolio.
Yeah.
You were right, Jimmy. For a second there, he was just talking to himself for a little while.
Yeah,
I was.
I mean,
Sorry. My mic's not working well either. It should have picked me up when I was bent over like that.
Whoa.
7 minutes to Wapner.
This is a family show, Billy.
7 minutes to Wapner. All right, Rain Man. I got you, man. You going to start freaking out with 2 minutes? That's a good one, Jimmy. 7 minutes of Wapner. Judge Wapner. Got to watch Judge Wapner. All right, let's go. Let's keep moving. Let's go on to the next topic, which is the Pi Network. I think somebody brought that up in chat. Pi Network. Why is that important? Well, man, I still have my Pi. Jimmy got me in. Let's talk about it, Jimmy. Jimmy got me into the Pi Network. I was doing my thing a few years back, right? Hitting that button every day, mining that stuff. Never done anything with it after that, Jimmy. What about you? Because it's important, because they got a big update coming May 15th. Pi Network core team has issued a final ultimatum for its 400,000 plus node users or owners to upgrade to the protocol 23 by May 15th. And this is the main net ready protocol for Pi, which is going to allow them to have smart contracts and be a real blockchain. But I still have not migrated or moved my Pi over to any type of exchange to even put any value to those. Have you, Jimmy?
I mean, I know it started doing the mainnet migration, but I haven't actually gone in there to look in quite some time.
Jimmy used to send me, like, in Discord, Billy, mine your Pi today. Did you mine your Pi today? I'm like, no, I didn't. I gotta mine my Pi. Dave, did you ever mine any Pi?
Yeah, of course. And I even had a little bot that would do it on my phone for me. You know, so it'll just do it every day. It would turn on the phone. It would go through the little steps. And this was obviously way before agents. But as far as moving it off and being able to turn it into dollars, I don't know anybody that has.
Oh, yeah, we should look into that. Has anybody in chat actually moved their Pi and turned it into the real token
Well,
Pi?
I think it has to be on the main net where you can do anything.
Yeah, I thought there was it was contentious because they needed you to KYC before you moved it, and there was something going around then. I had other friends that were also like, oh, I've got this many Pi and I can't move it, and it's now asking me to do this. I had a friend who was kind of a crypto newbie, and I was like, seems suspect to kind of ask you to KYC for something that's like pre-mine and all of that type of stuff. So I was
you had
like,
the
just forget
KYC.
about it. Yeah.
It's very confusing, and it's hard to move around. It is. It's more scam mechanics.
Did you say forced scam mechanics?
More scam mechanics.
Oh.
But I like your term too. Forced scam mechanics. I like it.
I was like, dang, Dave just christened a new word there. Forced scam mechanics. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. No, Pi.
Bitcoin moving.
Pi
Bitcoin's
is
at 82K.
What's it at?
82.
82.
Oh my gosh.
Well, it's like, well, what was it at before the stream?
80 what? Just sub 81, like 80.6 to 80.8 when I was looking at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's moving.
Phew. Goodness gracious, man.
Spots.
I'm telling you,
buying.
boy, this is this could be so good for crypto with all this
Hated
Bitcoin.
rally. It's the thing. Everyone is still kind of all about Max Payne is down, but actually Max Payne is up because people have missed out. And that's the thing. They'll continue to do this. You think you could get in at 80. You think 80's the top. You buy at 80 and it still goes to 86. So obviously not kind of telling anyone to buy here or those type of things, but it's just the way the market sentiment and the way it's moving is very irrational at this point. So
See, and for me, DDT, I think it's like math. It's math, man. We never had this kind of buying before because we didn't have the ETFs. We just
You can't say that, right, Billy? You can't say we didn't
can't
have this
say it.
time of violence since we had our market cap was double.
buying. I said buying.
But they had to buy for our market cap to be double.
Well, no, that's the total market cap. Well, I've always
Yeah, but
complained.
somebody had to be buying it.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, the Bitcoin market cap versus the total market cap, I've been complaining about the total market cap, and I don't understand how it's so low. But yes, it's going up now, to your point, because Bitcoin is the buying of the ETFs. We didn't have $4 billion in 1 month of buying of that's all new, mostly new money, man. And so I just can't see with that kind of inflow into anything, how you're going to have, unless there's a black swan. I can't see how we're going to go down to that high 50s range. It's just too much support. It's math. That's how I see it, but I don't know. I mean, I don't do anything I'm telling you to do. I'm just using my own thesis to use my own strategies to build my wealth. That's so hard on YouTube, right? Is we have this fiduciary responsibility almost, and I want to say what I believe, but at the same time, I don't want anybody to follow me and do what I do, because then if they do and I'm wrong, then it goes to crap, and I don't want to be in that situation. But on the other side of the coin, I want to inform people and be able to tell them what I'm doing and how I come to that logical conclusion without telling them to do it. It's a tough one, man. I see why Frankie always struggled with that. It's like, man, I don't want you to listen to me. But I want you to come watch your stream. Right? It's a tough one. All right. No, so I thought you guys would go all this pie deal, but I guess you guys aren't interested in pie. Dave says I'll take some peach pie, but he doesn't really care about mining pie. Let's see, what do we got here? I just talked to Randy yesterday. See how him and Emma are doing. He said they are doing good. Good. Papa Randy doing good. That's good to hear. What's this say? Is Emma in here? Anybody see Emma? I didn't see Emma. Is Emma in here? I'll say hi to Emma if she is. Tell Emma to stop on by. Yep, we got to feed Emma. All right, let's move on to the next story. Dave Digital. Lightning Labs should be the story. You guys, the Bitcoiners, Lightning Labs, why, here's the bottom line. What does it mean to you? Why is this story important to you? Well, stable coins with speed. Again, just like Polygon. You can now send and receive stable coins like USDT instantly and for a fraction of 1 cent, avoiding the high fees and slow confirmation times often found on Ethereum or Tron. A one wallet future is what they're hoping for. You likely won't need to separate any of your apps for different chains. Your Lightning wallet can eventually hold Bitcoin, dollars, and other assets all at once. That's what they're shooting for. That's where they're going. Universal payments. That's another thing they're going. I love to hear what Lightning is doing, but since I don't sell my Bitcoin and can never see a world in which I will transact it for a candy bar, I have never jumped into the Lightning world because I'm on the side of the spectrum where I can't spend my Bitcoin on anything. It to me is the most valuable thing in the world. Why would I give it up for a candy bar? And that's why we celebrate Pizza Day, is because, you know, I bet you that dude wish he had all that Bitcoin back. That he, you know, but I love what they're doing. I love Lightning Labs. I love what they're trying to revolutionize stable coins for speed, for universal payments, for institutional security, which they're partnering up to, you know, with institutions, global accessibility. I love all that. That's all good stuff. But kind of like Dave on some of this, it doesn't move my heart because I'm not the guy that's going to spend my Bitcoin. How about you, Jimmy?
Yeah, definitely not going to spend the Bitcoin. My Bitcoin wallet is a one-way street.
Yep.
That's in.
So all of this stuff is cool, and I'm glad they're increasing the technology. But for me, I've never downloaded a Lightning wallet. I don't ever have a desire to spend Bitcoin on transaction, but I know there's a whole segment of the industry that wants that. They want to be able to use Bitcoin like money, and maybe, you know, in the future, maybe we do, right? I mean, if you got all your money in Bitcoin and you have to, because you're like, Dave, I'm keeping it in Bitcoin instead of dollars. Well, then, okay, maybe, but like right now, I'm certainly not there yet. Mike says, I'm hungry now. Sorry. The little pizza. Yeah. Yeah. Checked your freezer and I still have the fungi pizza. Jesse, you're awesome, man. Any thoughts on that Lightning Network or the Speed Dave Digital?
You know, Billy, you know, it's the same. Polygon, Lightning Network. Here's what I do like. I do like Jack. I think he's really cool. I like his motivation. I like his drive. I do think sometimes he can be a lot one-sided. But hey, Bitcoin needs that. If it's going to make it, it needs soldiers like him in the background doing stuff. And I can't say I understand it better than him. So if he thinks that this is how it should be used, so be it.
Who are you talking about?
Jack, Jack Mallers, whatever his
Yeah.
name is.
Jack. Yeah. Dave watches Jack Mallers. He got me to watch him. All right, what commercial do we have to run? I'm getting a producer in my ear telling me it's time for the commercial.
We can run one real quick, but you know, with the big changes not happening in the background, how about just this one?
Hi, Billy Goat Tales family!
Are you ready for a blockchain story with bits and blocks? Coming soon!
Oh yeah. Gosh, that's gonna be so cool. That's gonna be so cool. You don't want to run the other one, huh, Dave?
Mute. I was muted. Sorry. Which one is the other one, Billy?
I don't know.
The motivation education one.
Whichever one you got queued up.
I don't have another one queued up.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Everything
okay.
kind of promotes the old way of things, so I was just holding back.
Wapner. All right, guys, let's move on to Chainlink. Last story, then we can go into some fun stuff. Chainlink, what's going on? You guys know Chainlink. You guys know all about Chainlink. Let's look at the price of Chainlink real quick. Price of Chainlink. Here's another one for you all to pay attention to. I would say, in my worthless opinion, go to the Link token, and it's at $10.72. Remember that Link is at $10.72 roughly right now. $10.72 for some Chainlink. Okay. What is Chainlink doing? Why is it important to you? Well, we don't have they're a private company. We don't have their tax returns. But we do know that the on-chain data suggest in 2025 was the year that Chainlink transitioned from a subsidized startup company to a cash flow positive infrastructure giant. Now, they are securing over $93 billion in value. Their Oracle is securing over $93 billion in value. And by the end of 2025, they were processing trillions in annual transaction volume. Now, for a private company, and it's hard to get numbers on how many employees they have, but it's somewhere at this point, somewhere between 500 and 1,000, they said. $250 million in revenue stream with nearly zero physical type of overhead, like no factories, no inventory. It makes them one of the most profitable and lean companies in the entire crypto ecosystem. Chainlink. And now they're in the news. What are they in the news for? Well, Layer Zero, a high quality company, Solve Protocol, has officially migrated 700 million in tokenized Bitcoin assets from Layer Zero over to Chainlink. Now, dig into that. When you start getting up to that kind of money, 700 million, you want to be with the safest, the most trusted, the best built protocol that's out there. Chainlink's at $10.72. Remember that. $10.72. It's amazing to me. By the way, full disclosure, I've owned Chainlink. It's in my Ledger wallet for years now. I haven't touched it. I don't know how much I own. I haven't looked at that particular balance. But I do own it, just full disclosure. So don't go buy it because, but I'm just amazed that it's at $10.72. That, to me, in my worthless opinion, is for the next alt season, or there wasn't an alt season, for the next run, let's call it. We got to stop terminating alt season. I don't think there is going to be a next alt season like it used to be, but I do believe Chainlink at $10.72 is undervalued as a company. So what's your thoughts on Chainlink, Jimmy Jim?
Great project. I mean, it had solid returns. What, 3 or 4x? You know, the last run. Pairs well if you're already invested in Ethereum. Good tokenomics there between. It's an ERC20 token. I currently do not have any Chainlink, but I would. You know, I wouldn't be afraid of buying it at $10, knowing it. Pretty sure it went over 30 at one point.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Run. So I mean that's a good safe bet, good safe play. You know.
There's the chart on it. What do you got there, DDT? Or is that Dave? I can't tell who's sharing.
That's old Dave.
Okay.
Just taking a look and seeing where we're at. So Chainlink notoriously is a range-bound token, right? So if you're just looking at it by the range, that's the wrong one. Then we're at the bottom of the range, looking for a deviation with the bull div or a SFP to climb back up the range all the way to the $30 area where somebody was talking about. Does look like we were north of 30. Looks like it could eventually get a little bit higher than that, you know. So, but if you play the ranges, this is a good swing trade, you know, back to the top of the range with Chainlink, which is triple the money almost.
Yep. So $10.72 Chainlink. Remember that? Great. Rusty Bot's laying it out. Spinning Bitcoin is just a pipe dream. The new guys that come to crypto have before, they understand that it will never work. Buy a 2-cent bubble gum and pay 22% capital gains tax. Yeah, it's something I just can't see myself doing, brother, for sure. What's your thoughts on Chainlink, DDT?
Yeah, one of the projects that made me money in the 2021 bull market. I've been a Chainlink advocate for quite a while. Obviously, I know how they work, being an oracle and kind of the way that they're required literally for blockchain to work, and kind of the interoperability kind of and the linking between the various blockchains, price feeds, and various things that they work with. So it's a good project with kind of good usability and good utility. Yeah, sold all mine. I bought at 5.5-ish.
Nice.
Last run. I end up selling at about 25, I think, give or take 25, most of the bag. And then what was left, I sold, I think, at 18. I kind of cleared the bag at 18 on the way down because I didn't sell everything. Hopefully, you know, you leave a moon bag and then you realize structure break, just get out. Currently, yeah, ranging, good project. Obviously, it's still being used across various blockchains and various projects as well. So it's not something that's lost its utility or lost its connection to kind of different projects. And then obviously now it's proven that it's kind of come out of its infancy, like you're saying. It's come out with this new, rather than kind of having to be VC backed, it's now actually generating income to kind of keep it being sustained, which is kind of how you would expect a project to kind of come out the other side of its infancy of the first few years, rather than being VC backed, obviously paying back your VCs and paying back kind of that investment from them to then now being self-sustainable by actually generating income to, yeah, it's good. It's good for the future of it. I would say, just based on that, obviously things can happen, but just based on kind of what we're talking about is looks fairly good.
And they're already integrated with the Swift payment system. That pilot program is over. They're integrated with it now. So Chainlink is already the blockchain solution to migrate dollars back and forth on and off chain right now. You know, I mean, guys, $10.72. I just like, we'll just be laughing about this one in 6 months, I think, but whatever, maybe a year, but at least 6
You
months.
know, I asked a friend about what she thinks about off season, and I have a response here, Billy.
Okay.
Well, I think I did.
Alt
Nope,
season.
I don't have it. It's not working on my. There we go.
Alt season. Where
That's
did
what she
Andy
had to
go?
say.
Andy's still in the chat. What are you doing, Andy? Numbers that Chainlink provide get updated all the time. So why does the price not go up? Are users not paying gas fees? There's something wrong with their tokenomics. Well, one of the things I know they've been doing is they've been taking their own cash and buying back their token. Now, I don't know what, it's almost like a stock, you know, companies do that with their own stock, a buyback. And I don't know if that's been somehow impacting the price of Rusty or not. But I still, you know, charts don't lie. We're at the bottom for Link. With all of their integration they're doing. But I hear what you're saying, man. I do hear what you're saying, brother. You would think that you would like look at Solana's popping right now. You know, like when is Link gonna pop off like that? Or like Jimmy just said, Sui is popping off. You know, you haven't seen anything really pop off like that with Link. I just think it's a good, strong, fundamental play. They're making a ton of cash, man. You got a real crypto company that is just absolute. So, you know, look at Ethereum, look at Solana, layer ones, of course. But they're real crypto, like these real protocols, these real companies. And the beauty to all of this, guys, for these I mean, what's so cool about this big picture, macro level? These are private companies, man. I mean, not all, I think most of these crypto companies, you got Ripple that owns XRP, but Ripple's a real company with that you can buy stock in. But you can't buy stock of Chainlink. The only thing they have that allows you a feeling of you're getting a piece of this action is their token. It's not like you're buying their stock, guys. You're not buying their stock. You're buying a piece of their future, possibly, but it's not guaranteed. And that's the whole thing with crypto, man. Now, if Chainlink comes out and says we're going public and they're going to IPO, oh man, you know, you're going to own a piece of the company.
That doesn't make sense. That's why people bought into Chainlink, was so they can buy into the company. That's the whole deal of IPOs and ICOs. That's the difference, right?
You're not
ICOs
buying
IPOs.
any ownership of that company with that token, Dave. None of these tokens. You're not an owner. The company.
Well, you're an owner of Bitcoin.
Yeah, but it's decentralized. You own the token,
You're owner of
yeah.
Solana, some of it.
You own the token, but you do not own a piece of the corporation of, say, Chainlink, of Ethereum, of Solana. And yes, I mean, when I first came into crypto, that was like a macro big picture thing. It's like you go out and buy Tesla when you own a piece of that company. You get on the call because you're a shareholder, so you get the PIN number and you get on there and you get to listen to what's going on. You're on the inside track with them. You get all kinds of stuff, updates and things that the regular retail doesn't get. And in crypto, you buy Solana, but you don't own a piece of that company. So you're buying the token, this made up thing that says, I believe in it, but you don't own a piece of the company. And just big picture, I was like, that's blown away. Well, of course don't get me wrong, there are some protocols that had created governance, but that isn't ownership unless it specifically says, and most of them don't. I've never seen one. If anybody in chat has, let me know. I've never seen one where it makes you like the owner of the private company that it's backing, that the token is backing. So I don't know.
Well, I mean, you get voting rights and things as such.
Yeah, governance.
You know,
Yeah.
for the protocol.
Yeah, governance, but ownership of the stock of the company. Most of these companies, Jimmy, are private. Like other than Ripple, do you know of another publicly traded crypto company? I mean, you can put it in AI day, but most of them are private or so decentralized that, you know, they didn't want to get in trouble back when there wasn't any rules. So they made it so decentralized so they couldn't be called a company, you know, but we don't own shares of that company by owning that token. I think I just like floor slammed everybody with that because it did. When I first came into crypto, that was one of the things that I had a hard time understanding. Like I couldn't, the abstract of it was like, wait a minute, if I buy Tesla, I own some of that, you know, the moves that they make, the profit they make, they keep making good profit. I own some of the shares, my shares are going to go up. Okay. In crypto, you can buy a token but there's no transparency like Chainlink. It's Google it, AI it. Chainlink is a private company. They don't have to disclose their profit. And it's like you're buying Link because of all these cool moves they're making and the investments they're making. But it's not like that represents a piece of their company. Meanwhile, the company's just producing money hand over fist. What's his name? What was that? We met him. Sergey. I mean, this dude's got to be just printing dollars, man. At the private company, getting a piece of every one of those transactions. And to Rusty's point, it's like, wow, if we were in the company and we were getting a piece of those transactions and that money was in our pot, in our community as owners of Chainlink, oh yeah, that price would be pumping right now. But it's not pumping right now because we're not the owners. And when I first came into crypto, that was a mind-blowing thing for me. Just like when people first start to say, wait a minute, I got $1 in my pocket. Here's $1. You're going to give me a Bitcoin that I can't feel, see, or touch. Remember those days? Those days were like, I was like, what is this? Digital? Like, it was hard. It was abstract. Same feeling with when I came into crypto, and I've been a stock guy, and I'm looking at it. I was like, I don't understand. Like, I could buy this project, this token, but I don't own it. I don't own the company. It's like, I'm just, like, what am I doing? It was hard for me to accept that. Everybody's like, what? Billy, did you take your medicine? Yeah. Ooh, Jesse. Hell yeah, Knoxville. Rant. Dave's always in the background pushing. Like I'm over here into something. Dave's over there in the corner.
Doing my job, Billy.
I know you are, baby. All right, guys. Well, we always end the show with, we're past the end of the show. Doggone it. I'm going to put my grandkids down. All right. Jimmy, what's on your mind? We got to end the show with Jimmy's final thoughts. You ready, Jimmy?
Or we can just end the show.
Okay.
Yeah. Later.
All right, guys. Hey, thank you for tuning in to Billy Goat Tales. Sorry I ran it for so long at the end of the show. Love you all. Lots of good things coming. We'll see you next week on Billy Goat Tales. See you.
Education, motivation, crypto.
All three on one network. Billy Goat Tales. Join a live stream 5 times a week or take in one of our new pre-recorded video drops, and we have fire shorts too.
Don't miss anything. Subscribe now to @BillyGoatTales on YouTube.